How's it, guys? Welcome back to the live. Glad to be here. I hope everyone had a very good Christmas. And yeah, so basically in this video, I'm going to speak about where I think Bitcoin is going to be going within 2023. There's not a lot of news that has been happening, just a bit of news on some DeFi projects. And then I'm going to be going over some Twitter threads that I found very interesting. And, yeah, let's get straight into it. So, first up, let's talk about Bitcoin and actually see what has been happening today. So you can see that we've had some decrease in some coins. There's a lot of news that I want to go over in terms of talking about Solana. You can see that over here, Solana is down around about 10%. And the next ideal position I'll be placing longs at, where I'll be talking about that now. And yeah, so basically with Solana, let me get straight into news with Solana and then talk about the charting. So what has happened? So the top Solana NFT projects, DeGods and Newts, to leave the blockchain and explore new opportunities. So basically, what's happening is these NFT projects are all going to the Ethereum blockchain. And what he said, yeah, at the beginning of the year, we noticed that much of the creator economy attention was focused on the ETH and Solana. And therefore, we decided to go against the trend and focus on untapped potential Web3 by onboarding the large enterprise brands. So basically, he's saying that you can do much more with ETH than, obviously Solana. And so that's what they're trying to do. They're also going partnering with Polygon. And yeah, so that's why Matic is looking at a more of a long-term hold, because a lot of these projects are actually going and merging with other DeFi applications, so basically what Solana has done on the chart, you can see it's dropped around about 11% today. And when looking at the weekly chart, we can see that the next resistance would be at around about, over here. So this is the next resistance zone. And this is for Solana. So this would be the next zone to look at. And obviously, what is happening now for Solana isn't looking good. And a lot of people are saying, will Solana recover? So we'll just have to wait and see. But, I wouldn't bet on it recovering, it's personal opinion. So basically, this weekly chart is looking like Solana can drop another 54% from where it is now, because the zone that the recent support zone was around about this area over here. So this was the zone, and you can see that how many times it tapped into this zone, and it actually lost this resistance zone, the support zone. So we have to wait and see. So this zone was obviously lost, and you can see the next ideal zone would be, there's a little bit of support over here around 8. But then the next support and resistance would be at around 4.52. So Solana is not looking good at all. So definitely watch out for that. And yeah, let's talk about Bitcoin, what is happening. So the reason why all these coins, so if you're looking at all the altcoins, so I've got a few here. All goes down 4.5%, -3, -3, -2, and then obviously -10 for Solana. So the reason for that is obviously what I was speaking about in the last video, okay? So we talked about the Bitcoin dominance chart, and I was speaking about if the Bitcoin dominance breaks above this zone, this red zone I've got highlighted over here, which is a recent resistance, and over here, all the altcoins are going to bleed. And what is happening, they're starting to bleed a bit more now, because obviously the dominance chart is going up. So the altcoins are losing share in the crypto market cap. So, that obviously it puts strain on all these coins. And because they've gone down, I'm going to go through a few other of the other altcoins and explain, because a lot of them are at support and they're breaking those lows. So a lot of them can go down way more, and that's also dependent on this chart. So the next resistance zone would be at around about 43%. So I mean, if it breaks this level here, which it is breaking now, this could definitely come back up to around 43%. And then so we just have to keep a watch of this, but this is looking very bearish for the altcoins, because obviously this increase is showing that the altcoins are losing their share. So when looking at Bitcoin now, I want to go on the higher time frame just to show you this graph. You can see over here that I was speaking about these levels, and we still clear of dropping down to, by that 15,500 mark. But in the short term, I'll show you when I analyze this, the 4-hour chart, that Bitcoin is looking a bit bearish, and we do need to watch some levels. But you can see on the higher time frame, if you looking at it like this, you can see that Bitcoin is still perfectly fine in terms of like how the adoption and everything's going, and you wouldn't need to worry about this this crashing to zero. Maybe a few altcoins you would, but I mean, looking at this is a very healthy graph, and in the long term it does look good. And you can see we are currently finding some support at this zone. And what I said in the last video is that if we actually break this zone here, we definitely be coming down to around about 12,000. And we did get a bounce off here because there was some bullish divergence from the RSI. You can see that it did make these higher highs, higher lows, and then on the chart was making lower lows. So there was some bullish divergence, and that obviously played out a little bit. But what I was saying is also in the last video, we have to break this high at 21,000 in order for us to be bullish again. So yeah, so Bitcoin, I mean, on the long term, this year, it might be a bit dark because of the whole recession, and inflation tightening and everything that's happening. It doesn't take, I mean, it takes very, very long time to sort out. So I mean, this could be another bearish year, and I'll be explaining that now before I go into some other charts. So you can see Bitcoin on the long term, if you're looking at 5 to 10 years, it's looking very good, very strong, and you can expect higher prices in the near future. So looking at this graph over here, okay, so this just shows you from when the the second halving, the third halving, and then the fourth halving, when it's going to occur. So obviously when it says halving, it means there's in every 4 years they do a Bitcoin price goes through a halving where the supply of Bitcoins becomes more, and then they reduce the reward to miners by 50%. And this just makes sure that the commodity, or whatever you like to call it, is running smoothly, and the stability and the growth of it will be good within the years to come. So you can see that the halving 2 happened in June, June 2016, and then we had that bottom. So 1 year, so 2018, 2019, we had that 1 year bottom, and then the halving 2020 around March. And then over here they're speaking about, so we had our bottom. So our this whole year has just been very bearish, you can see previously. And then after that, you can see in 2019 it starts to goes up, comes back down a bit, and then we start getting that run up. So this year we could be just a consolidation year where we come down to maybe form new lows around about 12,000, and then we could see price coming back up to the 20,000-30,000 marks within this year. I mean, so this year could be very good, but before the fourth halving, I think after the halving, we could see a massive run up. So obviously that's in around about a year and a bit time in order for the next halving to come, but I think that could escalate the price a lot. So this was quite interesting to look at, and then looking at a few other fundamentals, what's happening. So you can see over here, Bitcoin, this just shows you the realized price. Okay, so the realized price would be this gray line over here, and then we have the 200-week moving average, the black line, and then the Bitcoin dots. Okay, so this shows you distance to realized price. You can see that whenever we come below this line, this 200-week moving average, we tend to come up. And you can see we've been below here for a long time. So a lot of people, I mean, when I look at this, I think about accumulation zones. So obviously when we're below the 200-week moving average, I'll be thinking as we are in accumulation phase where I want to be accumulating when we're below this line. And then yeah, so that was just nice. It's just a nice graph to look at. It shows you, where we're currently sitting. And then looking at here, this shows you the Bitcoin in comparison to the S&P 500, and it just shows, I mean, they're very similar in terms of how they've been moving. And yeah, you can just see that they've Bitcoin, and if you're looking at the RSI, so when it's below, you can see it's below 50, and whenever it's below 50 at these levels, so you can see how blue it is, we tend to start moving to the upside after that. So that was just another interesting thing to look at. And then yeah, so Bitcoin on the long term, I was speaking about the dominance. So that's obviously why Bitcoin hasn't really moved much today, because the dominance is starting to creep up, and then obviously the altcoins are starting to bleed a lot more. Then I wanted to look at the USDT dominance. Okay, so looking at this chart over here, I was speaking about it in the last one. So I said if price breaks this level, crypto will rally. So what I mean by that is if price breaks below here, which I don't see happening for a very long time, but if it breaks through this zone, then we can see crypto start rallying again, because the USDT dominance is inversely proportional to Bitcoin. So obviously what's happening over here, you can see that this is starting to pump up, and we're getting another pump up, and that's obviously affecting the crypto market, right? So the market has been taking a massive hit today, and that's because the USDT dominance is actually increasing, and with that said, the Bitcoin dominance is increasing. So today is not looking good for Bitcoin and all the other coins, but I'm going to be going over Bitcoin now, actually in a smaller time frame buy. So basically over here we have our zones. Okay, we've been in this range over here for around about let's see, so around about 50 days, not exactly, but around about 50 days. And this percentage move is around about 14-15%. So there's a lot of plays that can be made within the zone. You can see obviously our resistance is around about the 18,000 mark, and our support is 15,500 area. And looking at a smaller time frame, we're on the 4-hour now, you can see that we had this type of pattern over here. You can see that price was ranging over here, and then we actually broke down. And I said if we break this zone over here, we can expect to go back down to the support at around about 16,600 area. And that's literally what happened. And now in order for Bitcoin to get a push up, we'll have to break this area over here, close above here, 4-hour candle close above this zone, and then look for potential setups. But at the moment it's looking more bearish, so we might get a retest and come back down. So that's what I'll be looking at for Bitcoin. And then obviously alternatively, we can break this area over here, this 16,600 support, and the next place that we could potentially go to would be over here. So if we break no, it would be over here. Yeah, if we break this the 16,600, we can definitely come back down to the 16,256, and that's where we had that wick where it grabbed liquidity, and there's a lot of support happening here, a lot of activity in the zone where we had resistance, and then a bit of consolidation over here. So Bitcoin on the shorter time frame, we had a massive bearish drop. Looking on the 1-hour, you can see that, yeah, I mean it is very it's kind of in a range, but it's bearish within this range. So I mean, this range over here has been playing also for around about 12 days. Okay, so so this consolidation, the longer the consolidation lasts, obviously the bigger the breakout and the bigger the breakdown. So if we break this zone here, then we can see a massive, a quick, I think it'll be very quick, and price can definitely tap into this zone. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. And you can see that we are respecting these levels. So obviously we have to just wait this out and see if we break this 600 zone. And then if not, then we can see price come up, and then come back down, and then basically push up to the upside. So we just need to watch this area. Yeah, so that's pretty much Bitcoin. And then just I've got a lot of other coins to go over here. And if you guys have any coins that you want me to go over, just put it in the comments, and then I can go over a few. Yeah. So looking at Ethereum, so Ethereum also did something very similar. So I'm just gonna go in the 4-hour here. So Ethereum did something very similar to Bitcoin. Let me just take this away. So we are also in this pattern over here on the 4-hour chart, where we're forming these higher highs and then higher lows. So in this little bit of an uptrend, and then we broke down this uptrend, broke the low over here, and it looks like we are getting that move to the downside. So we are currently sitting at there's some type of support over here. It's not a massive support, but Ethereum is getting stuck at this zone. It's around about this area over here. So the 1194, you can see, let's just put it down a bit. There's a lot of candle closures here, over here, and then all this activity. So a bounce is kind of expected over here before we get another push down. So we'll just have to wait and see for that. But if we get a closure below here, so if a 4-hour candle closes below here, then we can see a push down to 1160-ish. And that's Ethereum. I mean, it's very similar to Bitcoin at the moment. And I feel like there might be more of a push down than a push up. But yeah, we just have to wait and see, let the charts decide. And yeah, so if not, then we might see some type of this movement, or price comes back up to the zone and then pushes down, comes back up to the supply zone, and then obviously grabs all those orders that are sitting there and pushes the price down. So that's the alternative, but it's looking like we might get a closure below here and then look for price to come down. And then looking at, so that's Ethereum. I want to go over the S&P 500. So obviously I was talking about it in this graph over here, and you can see that when looking over here on the Japanese candlesticks, we actually, I've been speaking about this area a lot. We are in this massive downtrend. So you can see we are forming these lows, and then these lower lows and lower highs, and this is the most ideal place for the S&P 500 to come back down. You can see that we are, we broke this trend line over here, and the next logical price would be around about 35.85, yeah. That's the next price that I would see the S&P 500 come into, and it obviously affects Bitcoin, and we have to watch out for this. So this is obviously bearish. So the next couple of days, weeks, we might see this price coming back down to around these areas. And if we break these lows and we break this, then it will be a very, very dark year of next year in terms of where price is going. Obviously, with the recession and all this inflation hikes, and pretty much the war, just a lot of things that are affecting this. Well, obviously next year, hopefully we get some type of bounce and data actually starts, softening out a bit. So that's the S&P 500. Obviously looking very bearish. So you have to take that in consideration looking at the crypto market as well. So yeah, I wanted to go over a few coins here. So in my last live, which was last week Friday, where we hosted a live on this channel, we actually gave out the signal over here. So I said that, when looking at XRP, we broke these highs over here. So we started this little bit of an uptrend. So you can see over here, broke the high and made a new low. So XRP, I said we should go in at around 34.96, and then 34.09 would be our stops below the previous low, and then look for take profit around this area. And I mean, obviously I took profit, but it didn't really touch at the top of the zone here. It came a bit lower at around about these levels over here. And yeah, it was just a very good trade. And what the percentage there was around about 6%. So if you're using leverage, if you're using 100 leverage, that's 600%. So this was quite a good trade. And what I expect now, obviously, it's looking quite bearish. But you can see that this is still, holding structure. And, we have to wait for price to come back down to the zone. And then we can look for shorts back down to this main support. So yeah, XRP, I'm just looking at this now. We have to make sure we get some closure below here. And then looking at Cardano, so you can see, yeah, I was speaking about this the other day. So we had this rejection over here. So we had this breakout, okay, we had this bear flag. And what actually happens here, so you take from over here, over here, and you draw this down, and that's kind of the target where the bear flag ends. And you can see that it did actually enter that target over here. And currently what is happening now is we're getting some type of support at this area, at this bottom area here, and this support is the only support that there is left. Let me just see. So we have some support. Well, I'll go over that now. So okay, just looking at this now, right? So our Cardano, in order for us to look for shorts, and I think could be very nice shorts, we need to get a closure below this zone here. So a closure below here would be very ideal, and then we can look for some type of retest and then shorts to the downside, because you can see this is the last line of supports that is currently holding Cardano, and I think a lot worse can be seen over here. So the next zone, yeah, the next zone pretty much is this area here, this 0.16 zone, and that's the zone I've been highlighting. So it's around about here, and this, in terms of percentages, it would be around about 30% drop. So Cardano can come down a lot more, and so can a lot of other coins, but Cardano another 30%. So just need to watch out. This zone is very, very important for Cardano. I need to watch out for this area, this 0.2484. If we get closures below here, then sorry, I heard that the screen was frozen. So I was talking about Cardano. So basically, when looking at this chart here, so I was talking about this bear flag. I'll just go straight back to it. I was talking about this bear flag over here, and then we had this push down where price came back down to our zone at this 0.24 zone, and then we had, when looking at this now, I'm waiting for some type of closure that closes below here, and then we can see price come back down to this 0.17. So the next, that's what I'm saying, the next support for Cardano is this 0.17 area. So you're looking at a higher time frame, because on a lower time frame, we form new lows. So you have to take in consideration what is happening on the higher time frames, and on the higher time frames, we are looking at a 0.17 Cardano. So that's what I was saying, another 30% drop. And yeah, so if we see closures below this 0.2484, then I'll be looking for shorts, a long-term short, couple days, couple weeks to this 0.17 zone. Then looking at Link, so Chainlink, let me just look on the higher time frame, because you can see over here, let me just take this out. So Chainlink, you can see we have just been consolidating from at around about 8.9 to 5.6. This has been our range, and we are currently testing the lower support over here. I'll be digging into that, but just I'm trying to, on a higher time frame, what you've been looking at here. So what I see here is basically that, okay, so if we lose this this support at around about where we are now, 5.7, the next zone that we can come to is 4.459 Link. So that is around about 23%, 21, 20, whatever, 23%. It's a lot of, it's a bigger percent. So if we lose the zone now, then Link can definitely come back down to the zone. So that's what I'm saying. All these altcoins are at certain levels where if they lose these levels, they can see a lot more decrease in price. So let's just go on a smaller time frame here. So when looking at this, okay, you can see that Chainlink. We on the 2-hour time frame. We know that currently we are very bearish, because we have to. This is the zone. This is the zone that we're looking at for the past couple of weeks. And if we lose this zone, the next logical zone is the 4.5, 4.4 Link, and that's that 20% drop. So this zone is very important, and if we lose this zone, we can see much worse for Chainlink. So Chainlink's looking very weak. But I do personally, I back Chainlink as a project, but just looking at the charts, you have to identify what's actually happening, and you can see that this is the last support. You can see over here, we might definitely get a bounce. Could definitely be a possibility. You can see how many times that we've bounced off the zone. But what I'm saying is, if we lose this zone, then that is a very important. You can see how important this zone is here. I'm on a 4-hour, and every time we've come up into this zone, we've bounced off here. And currently, within November, we bounced twice, even 3 times, and we bounced there. So we could get a bounce. But I'm saying if we lose this zone, we are definitely coming back down to 4.5. So yeah, that's Chainlink. Yeah, that's pretty much Chainlink. Then looking at Matic, Matic's also in a very similar situation. Matic can definitely get a lot worse. And what I mean by that is, so when looking at this chart here, you can see where Matic has actually been. Okay, so Matic in June of this year, 20th of June, Matic actually fell to around about 33 cents. Okay, so if Matic breaks certain levels that I've highlighted on here, I'll be going into them. The logical explanation is we're probably going to come back down to these lows if we get that massive bear washout. So Matic has a lot of danger. It's recovered so well, but it could come down another 56% from where it is now. So at the moment, looking at this area, this zone over here is a support zone. So we've had bounces off this area. We had this fake out over here, another bounce over there. So this area, if we lose this zone, we can come back down to the 71 cents, lose that zone back to this 59 cents, and then 34 cents Matic. So at the moment, it's not looking good for the market, especially going into 2023. But we do know that in 2024 we have that Bitcoin halving. I'm not too sure the exact date, but I think it's around March. And this whole year just might be a washout where we will see the new lows and we'll accumulate. But I do think that in 2024 we'll have a massive push up. And that's tends to what happens over here. So after the second halving, we had that massive bull run. After the third halving, massive bull run. It could repeat. We don't know for sure. But yeah, at the moment, looking very bearish for Matic. So we could see a potential 54% drop if we break all these zones over here. Yeah, so I mean, it's not looking good. But long term, I'll be going over once I'm done here. Long term, it's looking very good for crypto. Yeah, so that's pretty much the coins that I wanted to go over. I mean, it is looking very bearish. And obviously with Solana losing that important zone, it's got a lot of push down. I mean, 27% and then a 60% drop. So Solana looks very, very dangerous. Yeah, I mean, if you're holding Solana, just watch out. It could get a lot worse, basically. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the charting. If you have any questions for charting, just put it in the chat and I'll answer everything. If you want me to go over a chart, just let me know. I don't mind doing that. And there's just a few articles I want to go over while you guys have some questions. So over here, this is very interesting. So I'm just talking about the adoption, okay, for crypto now. So International Chess Federation checks into Web3 with Avalanche integration. So basically what they're trying to do, they're trying to integrate chess with Avalanche and make it, like chess tournaments around the world, including World Chess Championship, Chess Olympiad, and make it very exciting, and you can earn AVAX tokens by doing this. So this is very, very good news in terms of the adoption side of Web3 and DeFi and crypto as a whole. Obviously it's very good news for AVAX because they're pushing the boundaries and getting into this very quickly. But yeah, I mean, it's very good for the future of Bitcoin and everything. So I mean, if you're worried about you holding your coins, I wouldn't say it's a problem. It's just the coins that you are holding might be the problem. So just make sure you do your own research on the coins that you're holding, because a lot of coins will get washed out within this year, and you'll see that a lot of coins that have been here for a while won't be here next year. So just make sure when you're holding coins, there's a coins that you trust and you believe in. Yeah, so this was just very interesting. And then this just shows you that today Bitcoin price drops another 2%, trading at an average of price around 16,653, and trading volume is up 35%, because also what happens in Christmas during this time, you see that a lot of people aren't trading because they're with their loved ones, and they're on holiday basically, essentially. So yeah, so there's a lot of less volume been traded, and the price tends to just decrease because of that. Yeah. Then obviously looking at the fear and greed index. Fear and greed index just shows you the type of fear in the market. So the lower 0 means really fearful, and then 100 means most greedy. So we're still in this fear mode. We've been in here for the last couple of days and weeks. So yeah, I mean, it's just been very slow this month, obviously because of Christmas and everything. Yeah, and then I just wanted to go over a few more Twitter threads. So, Bitcoin number of addresses holding one plus coins just reached an all-time high of 977,000. So you can see over here that, yeah, on the 27th of December, so it was yesterday, we at an all-time high of Bitcoin holding addresses. So, I mean, if this doesn't show you that adoption's increasing, then I don't know what would. But this just shows you how many people are still buying crypto, and it's not going away. This just shows you some daily on-chain exchange flows. So 382 million in, 350 out. So we had a net inflow of Bitcoin within today. Then net outflow of Ethereum with 21 million, and then USDT 47 million. So people seem to be buying and storing on their hard wallet, and hence more USDT coming in, and similar amounts of the addition of these amounts kind of not, they don't equal this amount, but it shows you that people are putting in buying coins and funding their ledgers. Yeah, so that's pretty much about it. That's all I've pretty much covered, but I think there's a lot of stuff that you guys can take away. I mean, with that said, the whole market is currently bleeding, and yeah, I mean that's due to the dominance and the USDT chart. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, just put it in the chat, and then I can go over a few things. Yeah, cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, if you don't have any questions, or if you want, you can put it in the comments after this video, and please make sure you like. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. We do this every week, twice a week, so every Wednesday and every Friday, just to inform you what our opinions are on the market, and look at potential setups and the overall sentiment of what's happening. So I hope you guys enjoyed. That is my predictions for 2023. I hope you guys had a good time, and see you guys on Friday.